Hey friends, I want to let you in on a few lessons that I learned the hard way when I first started trading. If you've ever felt stuck or you felt overwhelmed or just unsure on if you're doing this whole trading thing right, you're definitely not alone there. And I've been there. And today, what I want to do is I want to share 3 trading mistakes that I used to make all the time as a trader and also talk about what actually helped me turn those things around. Okay, so let's dive right in. Number one, the number one mistake that I used to make when I first started trading was over trading. So when most people start trading, they have this idea in their head that the more trades they take, the more opportunities that they have to make money. But here's the reality. If you don't know what you're doing, every single time you take a trade, you're giving yourself more chances to make the same mistakes that are costing you money in the long run. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a balance here because what I see a lot of people also do is they kind of set this daily stop loss, and if they hit their daily stop loss, they're just absolutely done trading for the day. And I think that's a good rule of thumb to have. But here's the deal. If you can only take 1 or 2 trades a day while you're just starting to learn, or if you hit your stop loss in the first trade of the day every day, you're not even going to have enough data to get better. You're not going to be able to learn either. And so some days the reality is there are a lot of opportunities out there, and you have to learn to size your trades according to risk so that you can stay in the game long enough for the day to take enough trades to see, do I actually have a real edge in the market? But there are also, on the other hand, a lot of days where there's not very much going on and you maybe shouldn't even trade at all. So then the question becomes, if I struggle with overtrading, what helps? And how do I figure this out? So I'll talk you through what I do for just a minute. For me, I plan my trades ahead of time, and I only take the trades that fit with my exact trading strategy. So for me, what this looks like is every night I go through what happened that day in the market, and then I look at what catalysts are set up for the next day. So maybe there's some economic data dropping, like CPI data or PPI data, that are going to maybe move the index funds. So I'll put the index funds on my watch list. Maybe there's some earnings announcements that I'm interested in, that kind of stuff. And so then also every single morning, I double check what I worked on the night before, and I also look and see, is there anything else that maybe I'm missing that I want to add to my watch list? And then I narrow my watch list down to just a few names that are in play, or I suspect they will be in play that day, and then I stick with those names only. Those are the only things that I'm watching that day. And I write those down, and I would encourage you to write those names down, literally put them on a piece of paper, put them in your notes app, and let those be the only names that you look at for that day. And if nothing sets up according to your strategy, the strategy that you have in those names, just don't trade that day. And what this is going to do over the long run is this is going to keep your trading really focused and intentional so that you're not over trading. Now, here's a bonus. If you need help figuring out what stocks are in play on any given day, I share my list of what I'm watching every day in my trading community. And if you haven't yet, I also give a few trade ideas every single week in my newsletter, which is also absolutely free. Both of those things can be found at the link in my bio if you're interested in those, and also in the video description as well. All right, so that's the first trading mistake, over trading, and how I avoid that. Let's talk about the second mistake. I used to make this mistake a lot when I first started trading, and that is chasing hot names, okay? Chasing the names that everybody else is talking about. Before I understood my own edge, and before I understood what I was actually good at, I'd spend a lot of time on X. I would spend a lot of time on places like Reddit, and I'd be trying to figure out what is the next name that's going to take off. And honestly, most of the time for me, those trades didn't even work out. Why is that? Well, for one, I didn't even understand the trades that a lot of those people were taking, and I was just getting in those names because they were exciting and they were being talked about a lot on social media. The other thing you have to keep in mind when you're on social media or you're on Reddit is there are a lot of scammers out there, and there are a lot of pumpers out there that they just want their names to go up so that they can use you as their exit liquidity, okay? Now, here's the thing. I don't think all social media is bad. In fact, after the GameStop situation in 2020, even hedge funds have started looking at social media to see what retail traders are doing. And so When I think about my relationship with social media and trading, I think the best use of social media, Reddit, X, stuff like that, is perhaps a similar use to why you would use a scanner for trading. Though I do think scanners are better, and that's what I use. I don't get any trade ideas from social media. But if you think about scanners, no one should run a scan and then just jump into every single name that they see, every name that pops up on their scanner. No one would do that. That's a dumb way to trade. Scanners are a starting point for traders. You still have to look, and you have to ask yourself a couple of questions when you look at a scanner. The first question is, why is this stock popping up on my scanner in the first place? Why is this stock in play? Sometimes you'll do some research and you'll see there's no reason this should be moving. There's not a reason this is in play. Here's a hint: stay away from those names. The second question you're going to want to ask when something pops up on your scanner is, does this fit my setup strategy? Does this fit my own strategy for trading? And if it doesn't, ignore that name. Don't try to find a reason to get in. And those are the same ways that you want to approach names on social media as well. Why are people talking about this name? And don't just look at why they say they're doing that. Look at the actual stock news itself. And then also, does this name fit my trading strategy? This is why I build a watch list the night before and prior to open that fit my own personal criteria of what I'm watching for. And then, before I ever take a trade, I still confirm that that setup is in place and playing out before I ever would hop into a trade to begin with. I don't care other people's reasons for getting into a trade. I always ask myself, do I have a reason to get in this trade? And if I don't have a reason to get into the trade, I'm not going to do it. Let's talk about the third mistake, all right? The final mistake, and this is a big one, that is ignoring risk management. Early on, when I first started trading, I would risk way too much money on my trades because it's really easy to get caught up in excitement. But what would happen is I quickly learned that protecting my account was where the real money was made. Protecting my downside was the real game changer in my equity curve. When I was first learning, what this meant for me is that I lost a lot of money unnecessarily because I was sizing way too large and I wasn't controlling my downside risk very well. And then even after I found an edge that I felt was consistent, my account was still bipolar and I was wondering why. I would have these big wins and then I would have these big losses and my account wouldn't go anywhere. And I would be asking myself, why is this the case? And here's why. Because not all trades are the same. And most people fall into the trap of sizing the same on every single trade. But when you understand that not every trade is created equal, when you understand that not every trade deserves the same position size, and you start adjusting your position size based on the risk to reward, as opposed to using like a one-size-fits-all approach, you're going to start to see your equity curve smooth out when you have an edge. And when you have a smooth growing equity curve, what this is going to do is that's going to be better for your account in the long run. It's also going to be better for your mental health as a trader. And so before you get into any trade, I would encourage you to decide exactly how much money you are willing to risk down to the dollar. And so, for example, if you're comfortable on a specific trade setup losing $50 or $100 or $1,000, depending on your account size, set your position size and stop loss according to what you are risking on the downside, and also size down if the reward to the upside is not far greater than the amount of money that you could potentially lose. And then once you've done that, never move your stop further away. Like if your trade goes against you, just get out. Your mental capital will be better and you will be able to free that money up to get into a trade that might play out. Don't hope that it will come back if it goes against you. Set your position size and your stop loss accordingly and protect your account. This is your number one job as a trader. One rule that I have to protect myself as a trader is if I lose my daily limit, I'm going to step away from the screen for the rest of the day. I'm not even going to look at stocks again until that night when I'm making my watch list. And remember, if you're losing your daily stop on one trade, you're still trading too large. Because if you only get one trade a day, it's going to take you so long to get a sample size to tell you if you have a good edge that it's not even worth it. If I'm only getting one trade a day, I can't even review well. I can't even learn well from my mistakes. So those are the top 3 trading mistakes that I used to make all the time. Those are the steps that I have taken to overcome those mistakes, and hopefully these have been helpful answers for you as well. And if any of these mistakes I used to make sound familiar to you, just know that you're not alone as a trader. Every trader goes through these, makes these mistakes, and learns these lessons many times the hard way. Trading is a journey, and every single mistake that you make is a chance to get better. I would love to hear which of these mistakes that you relate to the most and the steps that you're taking to overcome them. Throw those in the comments so we can learn from each other. Let's talk about that. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more real talk and more trading tips. All right? I'll see you next time.